All right, guys, welcome to the show. The stars, Ashton and Anthony Door. All right, hey, Joe. Ashton, summer school going good? All right. Joe, city council last week, 4.5 hours.
Long one, man. Long.
But it was good.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I didn't watch the entire thing. It was just so much, just droning on and on.
Yeah.
But there were some good points.
Oh, good points. One of the first ones, parceling off some land. Oh yeah, parceling off some land, trying to make it into 4 different parcels or subdivisions, whatever you want to call it, for businesses.
Right.
Possibly. So that had some community members, Mr. Avalos and some other people, I guess not wanting for that to happen. But at the end of the day, the city council voted 3-2. And then what was said about parceling it off, so some people were worried that a business might come in that they don't want, like a storage facility or a hotel.
Well, now's not the time to talk about that.
Yeah.
They just want to parcel it off. Now people have to, buy it.
Yeah, and then you would. Yeah.
And then it would go to planning commission. Planning commission would say yay or nay, that fits or doesn't fit what we're doing. I think Avalos was talking about, the guy that owns the shopping center there.
Oh yeah, he brought his name. He dropped him
George.
a few times.
George, and says, oh, he's not going to want that. Yeah, you're mine. Avalos. I mean, it's a business that can help bring more people to that side of town. And again, you don't know what's going to come in there.
Yeah, you don't know. So
it might be something great.
Yeah, it could be something really good. So what was said, so it did pass 3-2. But what was said which was pretty good, is I think the 3 that voted for it mentioned that you got to progress. We've been stagnant, and which I agree with, man. We're off the highway. We should be booming, and we haven't been.
No.
And so now,
I mean, just look at Dutch Brothers, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about a Dutch brother.
Oh, yeah.
Scott and his
somebody
wife
posted it.
They put it on social media. Dutch Brothers is coming. Kingsburg hadn't even talked about it at that point.
Now they got it.
I can drive to Kingsburg right now and get a Dutch Brothers. We still have an empty Rallies building.
Yeah.
So why aren't we progressing?
Yeah. So you see these 3 trying it. That's what they're saying.
And they're trying. They're finally making an effort. They're going to make Selma inviting to developers, to investors. Hey, let's come to Selma. They're business friendly. Let's face it. The way a city makes its money, there's not very many revenue streams. Okay, so a city is going to make money on their water, on their sewage, and on their garbage collection. Okay, we don't do any of those. We sub out every single one of those. So we make, I don't want to say zero money because there's some contract stuff there, but we don't make the money off of those like other cities do. So what do we have? We have taxes. Well, if we're not increasing our tax base, if we're not bringing in retail, right?
Yeah, retail's the big one, man.
Retail's huge. Like we've said before. We want people to come to Selma, spend their money, and then go back to their town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And also part of that discussion, there was a mention about a stoplight.
Right.
So I can't remember where they actually said it was, but I'm assuming it's McCall and Dinuba.
Yeah,
that 4-way stop.
That's been talked about for a long time.
So what was really interesting is Mr. Johnny Trillo he talks about it, and he says, hey, it's actually we don't have it right now because of bad management.
In the past, yeah.
In the past, we should have already had it.
Yep.
So it was really interesting because then he goes into a little spill. You actually have to go watch it. It's too much for me to talk about, but he goes into the spill about it and how it became about that we don't have it.
Right.
And it was bad management. So that was the first part of the meeting, man. That went on. There was some other stuff. So I just jotted down notes on some of the stuff that I thought was interesting. The other thing that I thought was really interesting was that they talked about this bill, 2780, I believe it was, and city manager is going to go to let me see, what is it? A state assembly meeting for Bill 2780.
Okay.
And the staff was wanting a council representative.
Okay.
So you would, I naturally assumed it was going to be the mayor.
It's a natural assumption.
Natural assumption. And, but Mrs. Guerra, which is the mayor's sister-in-law, nominated the mayor.
And business partner.
And business partner.
Okay.
Nominated the mayor, Mr. Robertson. Well, then, it's crickets, man, for a few seconds.
Uh-oh.
Kind of embarrassing. I actually felt bad for him. Yeah. So anyway, he seconds it because nobody else did,
okay.
Which is kind of a sign right there that, hey, it ain't going to go good for you, pal. So then there's a vote, and it's 3-2 not to have Mr. Robertson represent. You know, be the council representative
Right.
with the city manager at that forum. And then Mrs. Navarro goes on, nominates Johnny Trillo. Ms. Cho seconds it. Trillo votes for it. Now it's 3-2. The other two vote no. So it's 3-2. Mr. Trillo will be the representative. So I found that fascinating that you see the way it's you see the way it's going.
Right.
And so anyway, I thought that was very good, man.
Well, that's good. I want somebody who's wants Selma to grow, and
Yeah, that's kind of the whole
yeah,
point, yeah.
for Selma, for us.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
The other thing. The other thing. There was a part of the meeting where it goes back and forth about the chamber. You had a community member go up there and say something, and then another member came and said something else, but then also brought the mayor into it by saying, watch where you cast stones, and then she was referencing something with the animal shelter. Well, then the mayor shoots in and he says, and I wrote it down. He says, "Hey, I'm no longer associated with it after the harassment I faced up here by the 3 council members regarding my membership of that."
And now,
He's talking about the animal shelter that he's
I've
been
never
harassed.
heard harassment. I have heard, hey, this is what it is. Facts.
Yeah,
I've heard
questioning,
facts.
some
Yeah,
questions.
facts. Now, if you want to see where that is, that was at 2 hours and 52 minutes, 43 seconds.
Yes.
In, okay?
Yes.
And that's when he says, I'm no longer associated because of harassment. Well,
Harassment.
wait a minute. You want to talk about harassment, Jack? Let's talk about, we could talk about the fact that the mayor sued the city. I don't even know whatever happened.
Yeah, that's almost a year.
I don't even know where it went. I don't know where it is right now. If it died, I don't know. What did they do to Blanca when she got in? You talk about harassment.
Yeah.
She was getting harassed. In fact, they told her to get thicker skin.
Yeah, there was a part, I'm not sure who started, but there was a meeting or two. They talked about thick skin. You got to have thick skin.
Right.
Well, you're saying you're being harassed
Now
because
he-
of questioning.
now
I
he-
mean, maybe that's how he actually feels. I don't know, but I watched the meetings and I
It's
didn't
just,
pick up on it.
it seems like he was all of a sudden, now he's the victim, right? So now on one,
playing the victim.
again, we're being consistently inconsistent. But here's one that's funny. Now you jump forward an hour and a half further in that meeting, right, to the closing.
The
kind of-
closing, yeah, the closing
Their
moment.
closing statements or whatever they are. At 4 hours, 24 minutes, and 44 seconds. Now Scott says he was forced out of the animal shelter.
Yeah, so he started talking about July 4th and the dogs, and he mentions, hey, I used to be with the dogs on July 3rd until I was
Right.
something about I was forced out.
I was forced out.
Yes, something
Now-
about that. Yeah.
Now, which is it? Were you harassed and you left, or were you forced out? Because that's interesting. Because I don't remember anybody. I don't remember him. Who forced him out?
Yeah. Who for? You're the mayor. Have thick skin.
Well-
But not only that, I remember almost a year ago he resigned.
He did resign.
So
now,
was he forced out or did he resign?
here's what's funny. If you go back to the episode we did, and we titled it "Joel in a Bikini." No, I was not in a bikini.
For fun.
Right, but we talked about him being on
Yeah.
both boards.
Oh yeah.
And before the next council meeting,
Before
he
they voted.
resigned.
Yeah, and then they had a vote that night.
So maybe he's talking about us forcing him out. We didn't force him out. We turned the light on, and we
Yeah.
showed everybody the truth.
Yeah. And I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about, but you're right. I would love to know who forced him out.
Yeah,
who he thinks forced him out.
Yeah, if somebody forced you out, we want to know, because
Yeah.
if there's a story there, we need to be talking
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
man, I'd definitely talk about
Right.
it. Yeah.
My gut would tell me, my feeling is that the light got turned on and the cockroaches took off.
Hey, yeah, that's a natural assumption, man. So that was a big part because so that caught my attention. Not to pick on the guy, but he is the mayor. But he made those statements. I've been the harassment by the other 3.
That's what he said.
and not forced out.
Right.
Okay, he doesn't have a problem saying anything else usually. So who forced you out? And the harassment thing, I'm like, what? Come on, man. You're not always the victim, dude, when you get your way. The other thing I wrote down that I thought was pretty good, speaker system downtown. They were budgeting money for it, some extra money. That was around 30 grand, they said. That actually passed 3-2. And that was Mr. Robertson, Mrs. Guerra, and Ms. Cho.
Right.
So there was a 3-2 on that one. But then people made comments about, there was a citizen that made comments about, it'll be safer to walk down there. You get exercise down there. And I was thinking, because of music?
I see that. I can't wait to see how that plays out. That's going to be a fun one because, we've got the issue with the veteran flags, right?
Yeah.
We can't. I would think that everybody would be behind having the banners.
Yeah.
But now there's this big.
It's always a big fight.
A big fight about, well, where do we put them?
Yeah.
Right? Where do we put them? It's a big fight. Not everybody even agrees on the sound system. So now what's the argument going to be now? What we're going to play?
Oh yeah, man! I want Slipknot.
I want to
Chili
hear some George Jones down there. I'm sure somebody wants to hear Ramon Ayala or this or that. Or it's going to be like, here
Elvis.
we go again, man.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. But the whole exercise thing is weird to me. And then they try to make it seem like all these citizens are asking for it.
Right.
I would actually like to see a survey on that. How many people actually ask for it?
Say something in the comments.
I mean, there's a lot of other things that I think they should be working on. Is sound system.
Yeah, sound. Yeah.
I mean, for downtown.
We'll find out, man. We'll find out.
Yeah, so that I wrote that down. I thought that was pretty good. The other thing, sound system. School board.
Yeah.
A new member.
New member got sworn in. Yeah.
Got sworn in over a week ago, I believe. Mr. Gilbert Lopez.
Wow.
So he was actually recalled. So in 2015, I was part of that too. So here's the funny thing, and this is things that people should think about, if you're especially watching the show.
Right.
We talk about closed session all the time.
Right.
So there's always closed session about employee stuff, right? The mayor suing the city, that's closed session. We don't know what's going on. Gilbert Lopez and myself, but whatever about me, he was recalled on a closed item, an employee issue. So he was recalled and no one knew why. I mean, that's a story within a story. You basically hung somebody and you didn't even know why if you supported that shit.
Right.
You heard all the lies and all the BS, but whatever now. But people do need to know what happened in the past. That way you recognize what went wrong or what was wrong. Now Mr. Lopez had the courage to come back. And not only that, Mr. Fedor, hopefully you'll be on there too pretty soon.
We'll see.
But Mr. Lopez, in open session, I think it was last week, the week before last, there was an open interview of him. 12 questions. And he answered them all really good, man. Yep, knocked him out of the park. And it was an open session on YouTube. So the people, can go and watch it. And watch, I mean, he was really good. I mean, I was surprised by how he answered, but his knowledge of how things work. Right. You have a superintendent, man. You don't micromanage, man.
Well, let's not forget that he was the only one that put his name in the hat.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, and then he didn't really have to. Those interview questions, he could have just said, "I'm the only one," But no, he went full blast.
So he was the only one. Now, which people do a lot of keyboard, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. There was we talked about it, that community, that forum at the school, at the high school, what, two weeks ago, I think it was?
About 2 weeks ago.
Thursday. There was probably, I'm going to guess, probably 20, 25 people there. Every single person there was affiliated with the school district except me. I was the only person from the community that showed up. You could have asked any question about anything. It was really neat. They really were able to dig deep because there weren't that many people and talk about what you wanted to know. That was it.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad, man.
That's terribly sad.
So here's a story that I like to talk about, and I'm just gonna bring it up because you brought that point up. It's in 2014, man. For 6 months, I campaigned because there was a lot of people out to get me because I was a status quo. And so one of the biggest things I always think about is I talked to 500-600 people, man. At least I went everywhere. 6 months, man, and only 2 people asked me questions about the school board. Wow. Only 2.
Wow.
The biggest thing was, what party are you affiliated with?
Right.
What race are you?
And that was it.
Yeah, and then some people told me, "Hey, I'm going to vote for you because you came to my house."
Right.
That was it. Only 2 people asked about the schools, man. No
you
one knew anything.
Yeah.
So that tells you kind of how things work, man. It becomes a name thing.
Right.
That's why you had the last election for the mayorship, was it almost 50 grand between two people?
Yep.
50,000 almost between two guys.
Which-
Takes money, man.
Which the mayorship is up this year. So
And it's up.
and
Mr.
we-
Mr. Quintana has a video.
Quintana has, yeah, he's got it on his Facebook page.
Yeah, I think it's
two-
Luis Quintana for Selma
22.
Mayor
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah, it's just a little 2-3 minute video clip. Pretty cool. Pretty neat little video. So go, I encourage you to go. You're on Facebook anyways, checking out what all the cheese may is in town. So just click over to the Quintana's deal
Yeah.
and yeah, check it out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's pretty good.
So we did council. We got school board, health board. All's quiet on the health board front right
yeah,
now.
for now. I think there's a meeting next month.
Yeah. So
So wow. Man,
Anyway.
that's pretty good, man.
stuff is happening. So the deadline, well, actually not the deadline, but the beginning of when you can file papers is coming the middle of this next month.
Yeah,
July.
I believe it's July 18th.
Right. So once we can start filing papers, we can start watching that website and see what the county,
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
and see who's running for it.
So yeah, so that's another thing. So like for the school stuff, if you want to see it going like more for the parents, for the kids, then you got to pay attention to who's running, what they say, and and who's supporting them.
Right.
Who's supporting them is a big deal too.
Oh.
Because you could have swamp creatures, the good old boys, the unions. You get all these other people that'll support certain people because they have their own agendas.
Right. Well, just go and watch the other YouTube video for Selma. What's that other video? Oh, that's right. There isn't one. Because nobody's telling the same story out there. We're out here. We've been out here for years, right?
Yeah,
4 years now.
it's
We've
been a
been,
couple weeks, yeah.
we've been banging the drum and
we're not lying. And if we do say something that we get by mistake, we got the facts wrong or we misunderstood, we always say, let us know.
yeah,
Oh man, I take it back in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I
tell us.
don't want to have anything out there.
We're just going by what we've seen or what we've read or so
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff we don't even talk about because
Yeah.
we just heard it. Well,
Yeah.
we can't talk about it because we can't prove it.
Yeah, we can't prove it, so we won't say it.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so
Wow, that's a good point, man.
yeah, comment, like, subscribe. Go
yeah.
back to the Roger Roscoe episode
Oh.
titled Joel in a Bikini. We
Oh.
watched that.
Yeah.
That's a good, that talks about a lot of stuff and not much
man.
is, you can
That's a
see,
great episode.
you kind of see the evolution, how everything's kind of.
Oh yeah. And yeah, you're right. It says Joe in the bikini. Man, we touched on many topics.
We did a lot.
Oh man, that's probably one of the most informational videos we got.
I think we were better back then. I don't know. Maybe we're getting old. And,
Yeah. Well, I think there was just a lot more action back then, man. Different kinds of action.
Well, action is coming, man. It is coming.
Yeah. All right, say bye, boo. All right, guys. Watch, subscribe, and leave comments.